It's been a good week and it's been a good month. Hey, fellow traders, it's Black Coffee Trader. Today is Friday, September the 12th, and we had another small little green day today. If you remember my video from yesterday, I was saying today that I was really just looking for possibly a small win. I wasn't going to push it too hard, and if I didn't get the trade today, it was fine. I've had 2 winning weeks here to start off the month of September, and really wasn't looking for anything too crazy today. And we did get a little move here this morning. I was really only able to trade until about 11:15 or so this morning, and then I had to leave for pretty much the entire rest of the day. I didn't come back until almost market close, or New York session close at 4. And this morning's price action on the NASDAQ ES, I just wasn't crazy for it, and thought I might not find a trade, but then I did find this trade here on the Russell. Not a big trade by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, here's where we're at. So caught this little break and retest short to the downside. Let's get a bigger picture look on the Russell. So this morning you can see we were up. Yesterday we made this high area, not new highs on the market, but new recent highs, and we had a pullback, and really I was actually looking for this to bounce and go higher. And what was a little bit concerning to me was that the ES and the NASDAQ were making new highs this morning. So you look at the morning session on the NASDAQ, we bounced off of this 24,000 area and just kind of chopped our way up really all day. So very much an uptrending day on the NASDAQ, and a very, very similar picture on the ES. And ES was going a little bit more sideways. I mean, this is more of like a sideways channel until we get into the afternoon session or the midday point, and then we just started to grind higher. But for that reason, I was a little bit skeptical of that move on the Russell. Now, the thing is, in the morning, the Dow Jones basically sold down all day. So we had a move to the downside on the Dow Jones. So that was the thing that I liked. But yeah, got this break and retest here at around, I want to say 10 o'clock or so. What time did I get into this trade? Got into this trade at 10:30. Entry here, stop loss, very tight stop loss, and got out with 1 hour on the first half the position size. Got the second contract off here after I basically, I think the second target was here. I was in with 4 contracts, and I was shooting for this area somewhere right down here. We ended up getting there, but I would have gotten stopped out here. But we had this move down. We pushed back out of here, back up to my entry, and dipped back down. And that's where I got my second profit target. And then we started to rebound again. I just killed the trade. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna leave this trade on for the entire day and be gone. If I would have done that, I would have basically had a $20 trade, because this would have stopped me out and taken out this profit. So I would have only had this win, which would have been okay, I guess. But I was like, you know what? I don't like to close trades that are, $40. And I really want to close trades that are in the, $75 to $100 or more. I would almost rather take a loss than to take a small winning trade. However, I've not taken very many of these recently. My winning trades have typically been
order canceled. Order canceled.
I was okay with taking this, because this was really just kind of an icing on the cake trade today. I was just, hey, can I just add to the week? And that's really what we did. So I think with the fact of the Dow Jones pushing higher, was something that was a little bit against me, it felt like, on the Russell, although we did have a clear move to the downside, and that's why we took that trade. Other thing to just point out and talk about is this low risk, and I've talked about this off and on here the last couple of videos. This low risk trading has really, really, really made a difference. I don't feel like I've traded overly well over the last few weeks, but we've managed to stay green. And the reason for that is just like this trade this morning, the position size, keeping it very, very small. I talked about that yesterday. I'm basically trying not to risk more than 5% of my drawdown. So if I've got a $2,500 drawdown, like on an Apex account, 5% is $50. And so I'm trying not to risk more than that on a trade. And so, for example, here on this trade, I took an ATM strategy that was this was a 4 micro, four contracts. And so this initial strategy, the initial entry was here, and the ATM set I think like the stop loss was somewhere here, and the first profit target would have been here, taking 2 contracts off, and then the other one's down below. Well, what I did, so this risk on this ATM is $100. That's the way I have my ATM set up. So I took this contract and then, this ATM, but I moved this stop into right here. So I was really only risking like, I want to say $37 or $36 on this trade. Very, very low risk. And what that allows me to do is to, if I have some losses, I'm not eating up a big loss and losing drawdown. And I really, really, really like it. And I was able to get out of here with a little bit over a 1-hour trade with this. I had a tight stop loss. I mean, not tight for the setup. I mean, the setup was perfect. That's where the stop needed to go. If we lose this, we're in a sense, we're kind of, the trade idea is no longer valid. And we did break it here and then wick back down. I mean, really, I guess if you wanted to be very, very serious about it, you would say stop loss all the way up here. But I don't trade with that amount of risk. So this is my risk. And I was able to get out of there with, a $39 trade and went over 1 hour. So the other thing, too, is like this trade I had earlier this week on the NASDAQ, I think it was. Let's see if I can find that trade. I think I had it highlighted. Let's go back. Try to remember what day it was. It was end of the day on Monday, maybe. Yeah, right here. This was an example of a low risk and an add-in that works so well for me. So what this setup was, and this was a day that I was red, and I actually ended up with a red day, but I made up my earlier losses with this trade. This was a $200 trade that we started with 2 micros. Right here was the entry, stop loss right here. And so first profit target here, second profit target, I think may have been a 2R. I think I took 2 off here. No, I don't think I did. I don't think I did. I think I left this, I think my second one might have been like somewhere here. And then when we had this move back to the upside and we started to reject again, I added 2 contracts. And then we got a 3 contract fill on the way down. And that ended up, a $200 trade where my initial risk, I think on this trade, I might have had like a $60 risk on this initial entry. And it resulted in a winning trade of plus 200. So that's what this strategy has done for me. And I'm very, very comfortable with taking these smaller position sizes, looking for the add-ins. If I get them, great. If I don't get them, that's fine too. The one winning trade we had this week was on the Russell as well. And that was one from yesterday that we just didn't, there was really no other entry. On this trade here, the prior day high was right in here. I had that marked. It obviously moves day to day. And the entry was here, stop loss below this level. First profit target hit here, and we just continued to skyrocket, and I got my second profit target out there. Very nice trade, over 2-hour trade. Not a big win dollar amount because I had very small position size, but if I don't get the add-in, I don't get the add-in. I'm comfortable with that. And here's the thing that's really helped is even though I don't feel like I've traded overly well over the last couple of weeks, but it's kept me in the game. And my drawdown is very much intact. On these Tradeify accounts, these accounts, I had them down quite a bit at one point, like maybe a couple of weeks ago. The drawdown on these top accounts was like $600. $500 at one point, and they're almost back to $1,000 in drawdown. So I've built them back up, and on my Apex account, I've kept that drawdown intact. Likewise on the Take Profit account, this bottom account, we've got a full $2,000 drawdown intact on that because I'm keeping my risk very low. The reason I say I'm not trading as well is I typically have about a 50% win rate. And if you look at, if this thing can load, I'm running a lot lower win rate. So today, 750 on the accounts. And we had a green week. Let me just rabbit trail and we'll go over this first and then we'll jump back in it. But $1,700 week. Last week we were up $3,500. So, we're up $5,200 and some dollars on the month. So good start to the month. And again, winning the week. And I really like that perspective, because before I was thinking this manner, I would have went into the day thinking, what can I get, how can I maximize my opportunity today? Where my idea today was, after yesterday's nice winning day, I was like, hey, if I can just find a small win today, I'm happy. I'm not going to push the envelope and wreck the week and go into the week on a bad note. I mean, I could have absorbed a small loss today and still stayed green on the week, and that's what I was trying to achieve. So we didn't have a loss, we obviously had a win, so that was great. But so look at the stats for the month, and I don't recall what they are, but I think they're lower than, yeah. So this is why I say I'm not trading quite like usually my win rate is around 50% or so, and my win rate is lower. The win rate is lower, but we have been making money. And the reason is this low risk strategy and adding into trades. I am taking more losses than I sometimes do, but the average loss is only $40 for the month. The average win is 85. We're at over twice the average win per loss. So the wins are paying for these losses and are not eating into this drawdown. And that has been it's really been kind of an epiphany for me in my trading. And I know this is small. I know this is really small. We're not close to a payout. But think of it this way. If I can continue this trend and build these account balances up, I am doing, what's the analogy I want to use? I'm doing push-ups, and I'm getting stronger at this style of trading. And once the account balances are high, then I can increase my position size. If the account balance is at, 5,000 in profit, for example, now you basically have $5,000 worth of drawdown. So a 5% risk now turns into $100. So now I can risk a full 100 in my trade entries, and I will see my winners grow and keep my losers to a minimum. So I think that's where the growth can occur. And here at the outset, it's a little bit slower. So I don't know. I'm just sharing. Obviously, the whole channel is about sharing my trading journey, and this is just something I've been on. Let's look at this for the last 4 weeks, because I think this is going to be even worse if we go back for 4 weeks. However, we are still in the green for 4 weeks. So if we go back to where I started this trading, winning the week mentality, that has been a month now. And we're up almost 5,400. See, yep, my average win is 38%. It's about almost 10% below where I typically am. So I'm losing more, but I'm still winning because of this lower risk. And for the month, for the last 4 weeks, 2.12. So over twice the average win. Average win's almost 90. The average loss is just over $40. And that's really what has been quite helpful. So anyway, just kind of interesting. That's why we journal. That's why I love TradeZella. I love TradeZella because it really gives you a lot of good data if you just take the time to put it in. It doesn't take very long to put that data into place. Just like the trades themselves. I mean, this is something that I do. Like today, actually, let's just set this to today so I can find today's trade easily. So here's today's trade. So I will find usually one of my Apex accounts. I will highlight one of the trades. I mean, everything's copy traded, and I will just load the data. I mean, I'll load in here. This was a break and retest. My profit target. This is a preset. I'm basically putting my stop loss in. It was 2409.7. So at a 1.2 R, that's what this is. This target is set at a preset at a 1.2 R. I was looking for $35, and my loss was going to be 34. And we ended up with more than that. We had a 1.16 R trade here. So I love the fact that I can put those stats in. I can see that. And then obviously just, here I'm taking a snapshot, just a snippet of my trade. And so here you can see this is what this trade looked like this morning on the Russell. We had the break, the retest, got my entry, and immediately got into profit, which is something I love. There was my first profit target, and I can take that screenshot. I love that about TradeZella, and take a look at that. And then I've always got this data for going back and reviewing trades in the past. And my note for today, break and retest of 2408, low risk trade. First two targets hit, and then the market failed to make a new low. So I got out, had to leave anyway. Nice little 1R trade to finish a good week. So able to put in some nice little notes there. That is something I really like. And, we have our information, our data in front of us. So that is really, really helpful. And I don't know, the headspace is good. And I like the fact that I've not been trading quite as well. I've had a little bit more losses than I typically do. But because I'm trading a lower risk, it's still keeping me in the game. And honestly, I'm still winning. So slow and steady wins the race. This is a marathon. It's not a sprint. I know some people are really focused on getting big, pushing this thing quickly and getting to payouts quickly. And honestly, my mindset is just not, I don't do well when I'm risking a big amount. I just can't trade very well. So I got to do what works for me. So anyway, sorry for the ramble. I feel like I'm rambling here a little bit, but just kind of going over my trades and how I'm trading and what's working and what's not, and going on from there. So anyway, last but not least, again, just want to say thank you for supporting the channel, for being here. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for 450 subscribers. We reached that sometime earlier this week, so appreciate that. Hopefully we can get to 500 subscribers soon. If we can, maybe I'll do some kind of a giveaway, or, well, I don't know. I've been thinking about doing something for 500 subs. So once we get there, we'll talk about that maybe in more detail. But anyway, again, don't forget that Apex sale. It's going on until I think the 24th of September. So 80% off there. And the Take Profit deal is still going on. That 40% off, no activation fees. Great promo from Take Profit Trader. And again, code BCT gets you the best deal with Apex, Take Profit Trader, TradeZella, QuantGuard, and also Affordable Indicators. So I do appreciate that. And there's that trading expenses. That reminds me, I need to update that. That is not right. I'm probably more like 13,000 already, because especially with these new account activations, I spent some money getting that done. But anyway, I got to stop rambling. Have a great weekend. I had a good week. I'm going into the weekend with a positive note. Feels good. And we'll be back at it on Monday, and hopefully we can continue to win these weeks. So until next time, take care, my friends, and so long.